Hello everyone, hope you are all doing fine. So we will move on to the next topic in this chapter, that is how strong are acids and bases. Okay. Till now what we have studied what is an acid, what is a base, isn't it? So what is an acid? Acid means any substance which can produce H plus ions in solution. Similarly, base is something which produces OH minus ions in solution. Okay, but in today's topic, it is said that how strong are acids and bases. Okay, we know that acid is something which has got H plus ions. Okay, that is only a qualitative assumption. But how you will know that? For example, if I say HCl is a strong acid, okay, or NaOH, that is sodium hydroxide, is a strong base. Now, how will I prove that these acids and bases are strong? Or if I say acetic acid is a weak acid, or sodium carbonate is a weak base. So, how will I prove? Quantitatively, is there any measurement we can prove that the given acid is strong or the given base is strong? Okay, so for that, in the first session, we studied about the acid-base indicators, isn't it? Now, what the acid-base indicators tells us? It only tells whether a given solution is acid or base, isn't it? For example, if a solution is acid, it will convert the blue litmus to red. Or if a solution is a base, it will convert the red litmus to blue. But it doesn't give any idea of how strong or how weak is an acid or a base. Okay, so there is no quantitative information about this acid. Or simply speaking, we know acid has got H plus ions, isn't it? Or base is having OH minus ion. So I can say that a strong acid means there are more H plus ions, isn't it? Or a strong base means there are more OH minus ions. Okay, so now how will you confirm or how will you see or how will you know whether how much H plus ions are there in a acid or a base? So that is your today's topic. That is how many H plus ions. If there are more H plus ions, we can say it is a strong acid. If there are only a few H plus ions, it is called as a, we can call it as a weak acid, isn't it? Similarly, if it is having a very high number of OH minus ions, you can say it is a strong base, or it is having a low amount or lesser amount of OH minus or a lesser number of OH minus ion, you can call it as a weak base. Okay. Now, for that, in order to have a measurement of this, how strong acids or in order to find out whether an acid is strong or weak, you can use an indicator which is called as universal indicator. What is it? Universal indicator. Okay. Now, what do you mean by this universal indicator? Universal indicator means it is a mixture of indicators. Okay. It is made up of, synthetically made up of so many, mixing up of so many indicators and making them as one indicator. Okay. And they call the name as universal indicator. Okay. So, what is universal indicator? It is a mixture of indicators. You can call it as universal indicator. Okay. Or simply I can say universal indicator is nothing but, you know the spectrum, no? With geo, in physics you have studied with geo, isn't it? Now in universal indicators you can see this acidic range, that means whether if it is an acid, this color it will show. See, that is red, orange and yellow. The shades of these colors it will show if it is an acid. I am talking about universal indicators. Universal indicators are what? It is a mixture of many indicators, or many indicators made together to form a universal indicators. So it is nothing but what? A series of colors. That is universal indicator. And according to the colors, it will show different colors for different concentration. That is it. That is a value point. Universal indicators shows different colors. Okay, different colors for what? Different hydrogen ion concentration. You don't know, right? Hydrogen ion concentration. Okay. So, what is the use of universal indicator? It shows different colors for different hydrogen ion concentration. That is what I am saying. In this video, in this spectrum of colors, these are the colors they are showing, the shades of colors they are showing. That is the green color which goes for the neutral. Okay, in a universal indicator means like a pH paper only. This mixture of colors you make it into paper. It is impregnated in paper. So, and various colors are shown in this paper. Okay, one such pH paper is given in your textbook. So, please go through it. Okay, the various colors for acids, bases and the neutral. Okay, so like that, green is for neutral, then this yellowish shade, orangish and red is for acids, and this blue, indigo, violet, that range goes to bases, that color goes to bases. So, if you have a solution, okay, and you make it to this universal indicator, then if it shows an indigo color, we will say it is a base. Okay, if it shows a violet color, you say it is a strong base, see. Or if it shows a red color, it shows a strong acid. If it shows an yellowish color, that means its acidic character is lessened and lessened. It becomes less and less and it comes to neutral. So, this is about this universal indicator. In order to what? In order to know the strength of acids and bases. A comparative study of the strength of acids and bases. Okay, that is, it shows different colors for different hydrogen ion concentration. That means here I can say it shows red. What it means? It means it is highly acidic in nature. Okay, now just for your information, I have written this. See, in the universal indicator, can you see this? This is, if it is 0, it is dark red. Okay, now if the value comes in 1 red, so that we will deal with later. So now we know what is universal indicator. Okay, that means it is a mixture of indicators which shows different colors for different hydrogen ion concentration. That is the definition. Once again, universal indicator is a mixture of indicators, value point, mixture of indicators. There are so many indicators made together. That is mixture of indicators which shows different colors for different hydrogen ion concentration. That means you are dealing with the amount of hydrogen ion concentration, isn't it? If the hydrogen ion concentration is more, you can say it is more acidic. If the hydrogen ion concentration is less, you can say it is less acidic. Okay, that is mainly in this spectrum, Viggio spectrum. Okay, this is just to know how it goes, the color. It shows different colors, no? For that only I told you this. Okay. Now you want to calculate, right? You want to know an amount of how much hydrogen ion concentration are there in this acids or bases. Bases, OH minus ion. How many OH minus ions are present? That is base. And how many hydrogen ion concentration? That is acids. Okay. For that, a new scale is developed by a scientist called Soberson. Okay. A scientist called Soberson, I think in 1906, if I am not wrong. He found out a new scale for measuring the hydrogen ion concentration. That means that scale is called as pH scale. See, in order to find out the hydrogen ion concentration, the scientist Soberson introduced a new scale which is called as a pH scale, which from this you can know the hydrogen ion concentration, H plus ion concentration you can know from this. And the P stands for power. Okay, or in German it is called as potens. Okay, in German it's called as potens, and here you can say simply potens means power. That is the power of H plus ion concentration. Okay, and the H stands for H plus ion concentration. So this means that what is the power of hydrogen ion concentration? So if the power of hydrogen ion concentration is more, it is more acidic. If the power of concentration is less, hydrogen ion concentration is less, it will be less acidic. Okay, so that is about this pH scale, and the P stands for power or potens and X stands for hydrogen ion concentration. Okay, do you get it? I'll tell you, if there is any problem, because we know each other virtually now, isn't it, for about 4 months. Now if you have any doubt or you want any clarification from me, whether you are while reading or while I am teaching, if you are not getting that point or concept, just give me a chat so that I can clear it to you one by one. Okay, so please make it very clear that you have to go thoroughly with the portions. That is important. Okay, just go and listening this portion and just getting the notes is not enough. You have to know the concept, then only go to the 11th and 12th, make a difference of it. Okay, so make sure that you get the concept. If any difficulty, that is I am telling you again and again, that any difficulty for you, please get me. You have a WhatsApp, just get me and clear it for you. Okay, so you do that. Okay, now this is the pH scale. Okay, now more about pH scale. More about pH scale. It is nothing but value, or I can say a range of value. pH is nothing but a range of values. That is the value starting from 0 to 14. See? So pH is a set of values. What may be the values? It may be the hydrogen ion concentration. Correct. So it is a set of values ranging from 0 to 7. Correct. And in between, the midway between the 0 and 14 is 7. Okay. Now the 7 means that the solution or whatever it is neutral. See, in pH means it is a set of numbers ranging from 0 to 14. And what about the 7 number? The 7 number is for neutral. 7 means it is neither acidic nor basic. Okay. Now, if it is from 0 to 7, see, 0 to 7, what is it? It is acidic. Okay. 0 to 7 means acidic, and 7 to 14, what it is? It is basic. See, this is what is called as a pH scale. Now, if the pH is 0, which means what? That means that solution or that substance is highly acidic. As it moves on to 7, the acidic character decreases. Okay, and when it comes 7, what happens? It will become neutral. Now again, if it goes to 14, the acidic character becomes nil and the basic character increases. So this is what is called as the pH range. It is nothing but a set of numbers ranging from 0 to 14, where 7 number is neutral. Neutral means what? Neutral means distilled water. Example, distilled water means what? There are no ions in it, isn't it? The ions are taken away. So that is 7. Then our blood. Blood is what? Blood is nearly alkaline. If you say it is 7.4, that is moving on to little bit of alkaline side. That is then our water, your mineral water and all, no, you get from the shop. That is little bit of acidic, like 6.9 or something. Just neutral, but to a acidic side. So these are all. Now for HCl acid, the pH is 1. See, means it's a very strong acid. Correct. Here pH of NaOH is 14. See, that means it is highly basic. Okay. Here also we can see with colors the pH color. That is also Vigio, the same spectra it is using. See, I have just noted down for your just information. This is not of your concern. Just to have a color variation for you, how it exactly goes. See, if the pH is what? 0, it is dark red. Okay, if pH is 1, because see, highly acidic means highly dark, dark red, red. Okay, now if it is 1, it is red, then 2, again it is red, then 3, it is orange red, isn't it? Vitriol, see, vitriol. So red is over, then come to the orangish shade, that is orange red. Then if the pH is 4, it is orange, see. Then the pH is 5, orangish yellow, see, it is coming to the yellowish side, still acidic. Then pH is 6, it is greenish yellow, see, again on the yellowish side. And if the pH is 7, what is it? Green, that is neutral. Okay, now coming back, 8, if the pH is 8, greenish yellow, again on the yellowish side. Then 9 on the blue side. Then navy blue, indigo, purple, violet, etc. So this is a range of pH, just to know how the color goes. Okay, just to have that information, I just put it down. That's all. Okay, it is nothing of your concern. Nobody is Nobody is going to ask which color is which for pH, which pH, which color. No, nothing at all. Okay, just for information, I just write it down. That's all. Okay, so that basically pH means what? It is a numbers, isn't it? Ranging from 0 to 40. Now one concept is that greater the pH, see listen, greater the pH, lower is the acid strength. Or inversely I can say, lower the pH, higher is the acid strength. Very, very important. What is it? Either you study only one. You study greater the pH, lower is the acid strength. Or you can study lower the pH, greater is the acid strength. Or I can write it. It's very, very important. What is it? You can write lower the pH, lower the pH. You know pH, you are writing P subscript H. Superscript, not subscript, superscript. Okay. pH. Lower the pH, what is it? Greater is the acid strength. Very, very important. Or vice versa. Vice versa means what? Greater the pH, lower is the acid strength. Okay. That means see, if the pH is 1, what it means? It is a greater. Strength of acid is greater. Okay. So from this we can know that you can relate what? The strength of acids and bases with pH. If the pH is very low, you can say the acid is very strong. If the pH is very high, you can say the acid is very weak. Okay, so that's all about pH. Okay. Now, if you want to calculate the pH, you can calculate the pH, but that is not in your syllabus. If anyone needs it, it is not in the syllabus, you don't have to study, but still if anyone know how to calculate, someone will have the curiosity. Yes, teacher said to calculate quantitatively, you can calculate H plus, but how? If someone like that has got a question, for them the answer is, you can calculate the pH by this equation. That is, pH is equal to minus logarithm of H plus ion concentration. Okay, nothing to do with your syllabus, just to have an information, that is, you can calculate the hydrogen concentration in relation to pH. Okay, that's all logarithms you study in 11th standard. Okay, so this is an equation. How to calculate the concentration of H plus. Okay, now going back to the importance of pH in everyday life. Okay, before that, then how can you define a strong acid? Tell me, how can you define a strong acid and a weak acid? A strong acid means what? It furnishes or it contains more H plus ions, isn't it? More H plus ions. Okay, now the strong base means more OH minus ions. Correct. So, more H plus ion means what? Strong, isn't it? More. But if it produces less H plus ions, it is called as weak. Or less OH minus ions, you call it as weak base. Now you got that idea? what is strong base and what is strong acids. Okay. Now if a question is asked, you are given two acids. Okay, you are given two acids, for example, HCl, okay, HCl and acetic acid. You know acetic acid. Okay, acetic acid is an organic acid where HCl is a mineral acid. Acetic acid, if I write the formula, CH3COH. Okay, you are given two acids and you are told HCl is a strong acid whereas acetic acid is a weak acid. Comment on it. Got the question? HCl is a strong acid whereas acetic acid is a weak acid. Account for it or comment on it. Now what will be your answer? Your answer will be HCl is a strong acid because what will be your answer? It contains, what's the value point? It contains more H plus ions or it can furnish more H plus ions. It can give more H plus ions in solution. That's the point. So you got the value point? Whenever we say an acid, any acid, be it is HCl or be it is H2SO4, any acid, if you want to say that acid is strong, which indirectly means that it contains or it can furnish or it can give more H plus ions in solution. Correct? Now, why you call acetic acid a weak acid? Why? Because, tell me, why? Because it can give only lesser number of hydrogen atoms, hydrogen ions in solution. Correct? So, that is how you go for the question. The same question can be asked for base also. NaOH is a strong base, where ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. Isn't it? The same NaOH is a strong base, whereas ammonium hydroxide is a weak base. How will you account for it? NaOH is a strong base because it can furnish what? Higher number of OH minus ions in solution, isn't it? Whereas ammonium hydroxide, we can say it only furnish less amount of OH minus ion. And one more thing, if this HCl and acetic acid having same concentration, it has to be stressed. If HCl and acetic acid is having the same concentration, what will be concentration? It is, how will you define concentration? Qualitative term. Okay, for example, say 1 molar. You will study this molar and all in higher classes. Just to say, in same concentration also, if you are given HCl and this CH3COH as same concentration, that is 1 molar, then HCl is said to be a strong acid and CH3COH is said to be a weak acid. So even in same concentration, you can have both strong acids as well as weak acid. Okay, the funda is, whenever a substance furnish more H plus ions in solution, it is said to be a strong acid, and if it is produce lesser H plus ions, it is called as a weak acid. You got that? Okay, you have a table in your textbook. Okay, so you just copied down the table for the pH values. For example, saliva, tap water, etc. 5 or 6 or 8 things are there. So you just note it down. I will give you the values and you can write them. Okay, just to make it clear what is the color changes there. That's all. Okay, so just copy the table and I will give you the values. Okay, pH values. That's an activity for you. Now, so that's all about the pH. Now we will see the importance of pH in everyday life. Now you know something, you have some basic idea of about what pH is. If in a simple way you will say, from pH you can have a measure of hydrogen ion concentration, isn't it? And moreover, pH is a value, isn't it? Value ranging from 0 to 40. Okay, that means if greater the pH, lower is the hydrogen ion concentration, or lower the pH, higher is the hydrogen ion concentration. That's all you have to study for 10th standard about the pH. Okay. Now, the importance of pH in everyday life. Actually, when we talk about pH, It is very, very important for even in everyday life, the pH value. And also in some industries also the pH is important. For example, in agricultural industries. Agricultural industries means the growing of plants, etc. The pH is a must. Okay. Or in biological industry, very, very important, our metabolism. Okay, whatever happens in your body, it only works within a special range of pH, isn't it? So that's also important. Or in corrosive chemistry, corrosive means what? You know, iron, rust, fine, etc. corrosive. So the pH is again important in making ships. You know ships, no? Conveyor vessels, ships, etc. That is iron, made up of iron. So you have to know the exact pH of the seawater. Then only you can make the container or vessel or ship, the vessel of the ship using that pH, because it won't corrode. So according to that pH, that alkaline pH only, the vessel should be made. So there are so many importance of pH. Okay, so many importance of pH, and even the cosmetics. You know cosmetics, right? The girls will be knowing. That is, we are having the cream and all, no? They are all made in a specific pH. And if the pH is varied, then there will be some other problems with you. Okay, so that's all about that. That is about the pH. Okay, so in almost areas, the pH is very, very important. Okay, then here we will see 5 or 6 areas where the pH is important. That is, in everyday life, some 6 or 7 areas where this pH is important. Okay, the first area is the human itself. Okay, how the pH is related to humans or animals or plants, humans or plants, living organisms. Is pH important for us? Or how do we relate humans and pH, or plants and pH? How we will relate this pH? Or what is the essentiality of hydrogen ion concentration in our body or in plants? Yes, definitely there is concern in the pH. How? See, in human body or our body, since you know, you have studied in biology about that, so many systems, digestive systems, nervous systems, respiratory systems, etc. Okay, so our body can only work within a specific pH. A specific pH range, that is between 7 to 7.5. See, what is 7 to 7.5? It is a neutral or somewhat basic. Somewhat basic, I will only say somewhat basic in nature, because our blood is 7.4, pH of blood is 7.4. So it is slightly alkaline medium. So our human body works within the range of what? 7 to 7.5. For our human body, the pH works well between 7 to 7.5. If it is less than 7, okay, there may be a problem, or greater than 7.5, again there will be a problem. So it must be in the range of pH between 7 and 7.5. Then only our body works well. Okay, so that is concerned with our body, the humans or our living organisms. Okay, for us. Now, have you heard of acid rains? What is acid rain? Acid rain means what? When rainwater comes into the earth, what happens? The oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, etc. reacts with this rainwater and make it acidic, isn't it? You know that, you have studied in smaller classes acid rain. That is why the Taj Mahal monuments are all corroded now, isn't it? The white color is being corroded to an yellowish one. That is mainly due to the acid rain. Okay, so when this acid rain comes, acid rain means what? Acidic. That means the pH will be less than 7. You know, correct? Okay. Now, when this acid rain, now you know what is acid rain? Okay. Now, when acid rains, when the pH is below 5.6 or which is less than 5.6, that is when acid rain means what? Acid rain you know. Okay, when the acid rain's pH is below 5.6, you just note down the value, which is important. Then only marks will be given. Otherwise the marks will be get cut off. You have to write the specific range as 7 to 7.5, or it is less than 5.6. You have to mention that value, particular value. So if the acid rain's pH is less than 5.6, less than 5.6 means what? You know, 0, 7 to 14. This is neutral. So less than 5.6 means acidic character. That is acid rain. Correct? Now, when this acid rain water flows to the rivers, you know, for aquatic rivers, what will happen? What will happen? The fishes and all, the living organisms in water cannot survive, or the aquatic animals cannot survive in this lower pH. That is why I said what? These organisms can only survive within a normal range. When it is below some particular range or a particular pH, it won't survive, it will die. That is the importance of pH, isn't it? So here now we know most of them the acid rains problems are there. So that rainwater goes to a river or a stream. What will happen? All the fishes will die out, isn't it? Fishes and all the aquatic animals die out. So that is so we have to maintain the pH for that. You have to see whether it is coming, or you have to do some alternate arrangements for that. Okay, so this is according to our pH in relation with the humans or living organisms, plants and animals. You got it? Now what was the value point? That for humans or living organisms, what happens? The pH will work only in a range between 7 to 7.5. That's the first value point. The second value point is of acid rains. That is aquatic animals, regarding the aquatic animals. Now if the acid rain's pH is less than 5.6, okay, till 5.6 it can survive. But if it is less than 5.6, what happens? This will die out, or the survival of aquatic animals is dangerous. Okay, so these two value points you must remember about the pH in animals and plants. Correct? So that is the first importance of pH in human beings as well as aquatic animals. Okay, that is the first one. So two value points. The range you have to be very, very careful writing 7 to 7.5 living organism, and the acid rain is 5.6. The pH of acid rain is less than 5.6. The survival of aquatic animals will be in danger. Clear? Understood? Now the second importance of pH in everyday life is, second importance. So first importance you have studied. The second importance of pH is the pH of soil. Have you ever imagined that the soil is having a pH? Or you see, we have garden in our home, right? In our home. Or we have backyard gardening of what? The vegetable garden is there in our home. Okay. Now, sometimes what happens? If you plant some roses, maybe roses or some other plants in the soil, it won't grow healthy. So maybe what is the reason behind that? Usually the reason is it is not having the appropriate pH. It is not having an appropriate pH, or you know, for the growth of plants the soil is important, right? The soil, from the soil only it will take the nutrients and grow. Okay, now if the pH of the soil is not adequate to grow, it won't grow. So how will you know? So if you want to, what do you want to do? You want to see the pH of the soil. Okay, for example, I have a rose plant. Okay, now I planted it 2 months back and it is not flowering. And it is not seeing healthy also. So what I did, I took that soil and I found the pH. Now the problem is how I will find the pH of a soil. It is very simple. You can find the pH of a soil by taking a soil in a beaker. Okay, taking the soil in a beaker, add water into it and then shake well. Then after shaking well, you take the filtrate, that water, in some bottle and you go and test in a lab. There are so many labs here, government labs are there in order to find the purity of water or pH of water. You can find. Okay, so if you give it to the lab, or if there is a pH paper there, if you have in your home a pH paper, a universal indicator is there, or a pH paper is there, or even a litmus paper is there, you can see the color change and know whether it is acidic or basic in nature. See, whether the soil is acidic or basic in nature. Now, if we know the acidicity and basicity of the soil, what we have to do? For example, in my garden, I found the pH of my garden soil is acidic in nature. I found out. Now what I will do? I should make that soil alkaline, or I have to make that soil neutral by adding what? Some bases in that soil. You got the point? What I want to say is, if you want a healthier growth of a plant, or if a plant wants to grow healthy, its pH must be more or less neutral. That means it won't be either too acidic or it won't be neither too basic. It must be a between acidic and basic. That means somewhat neutral. So if some soil is more basic, you will add acidic manure in it. Okay. Or if a soil is more acidic, you will put basic manure into it. Okay, basic manure means what? Lime, you know, calcium hydroxide. Isn't it? You put this into the acidic, or you put basic into the acidic. So thereby you can make the soil perfect for a very healthy growth. Okay, so that is the importance of pH of the soil. Now you know how to find the pH of the soil, or how the pH of a soil makes a plant healthier grow, isn't it? So that is the importance of the pH of a soil. Correct? This is the second one. Now we will see for the third importance of pH, or in which area the pH is important in our day-to-day life. It is nothing but our digestive system. Isn't it? You have studied in your biology, digestive system. How this pH is related to our digestive system? You know, in digestive system, in our stomach, which acid is produced? Which acid is produced? HCl gas is produced, right? In the correct amount, the HCl gas is produced in the stomach without affecting the stomach, isn't it? It is very harmless to our stomach, where the HCl is secreted. Correct? Now, what happens when we overeat? When we overeat, what happens? More and more acid is produced in our stomach, isn't it? Then what happens? Then our stomach will get pain, isn't it? You understood? Now, when you overeat, what will happen? More and more HCl is produced in our stomach, causing pain and irritation. Then what is the remedy of that? What is the remedy of that? You will have to take what? Since acid is in larger quantity, you have to take what? A basic substance. See, you will take what? Antacids. Have you heard of antacid? Like Gelusil. Antacids, Gelusil, Eno. You have heard of it, right? Gelusil, Eno, etc. These are called as antacids. What will the antacid do? Antacid will neutralize this acid, that is basic in character. Antacids are basic in character. So what these antacids will do? These antacids, the acid will neutralize the base and you will get relief of the stomach. Okay, so that is in the pH which is seen in the digestive system. That is in HCl you know it's a strong acid, the concentration of H plus is more. So on overeating, when more and more HCl is produced, it's a problem, isn't it? More HCl means you will have irritation and pain in your stomach. So what will we do? We took antacids. What are antacids? They are bases, basic in nature. Okay, for example, ENO, Gelusil, or another example is MgOH twice. What is it? It is called as milk of magnesia. What is it? Milk of magnesia. What is it? Milk of magnesia. Okay, it is a mild base. Okay, not a strong base, it's a mild base. So, this is how the hydrogen concentration is reduced in the digestive system. Hydrogen concentration means it is related to pH. Okay, so here what is the value point? Here the value point is the hydrochloric acid is secreted in the stomach in correct quantity, right? It doesn't cause any harm to the stomach. But while we overeat, what happens? The HCl produced is more, causing our stomach severe pain and irritation. So in order to avoid or not remedy that pain, you have to take antacids. Now what are antacids? Antacids are bases which can neutralize the acid and it can relieve it from the pain. Correct? So that is about the third importance of pH, that is in our digestive system. Clear? Understood? Now coming back, the fourth importance in the pH in our day-to-day life. Okay, now what was the first one? First one was the pH in our human body or humans and plants, isn't it? What is it? It ranges from 7 to 7.5. Then in acid rain, when the pH of the acid rain is less than 5.6, what happens? When this acid rainwater goes into the streams or rivers, what happens? It is dangerous for the aquatic life. Correct? Now what was the second point? In the pH of the soil. What was the third one? In the digestive system. Okay. Now the fourth one is, the importance of the fourth pH is about the tooth decay. Now how this is connected with the pH or the hydrogen ion concentration? How is it? See, how tooth decay happens? How tooth decay happens? See, when the pH of our teeth is less than 5.5, the decay starts. The decaying of the decaying of the teeth starts. Okay. Now, how will the pH will be less than 5.5? You know, our teeth is what? Made up of the hardest substance known as calcium phosphate. You know that. Okay. It is the hardest enamel. You know, enamel is made up of the hardest substance, which is nothing but the calcium phosphate. Okay. Because it is insoluble in water, there is no reaction with water or enamel. It won't decay also. Then how this decay comes? That means when in the mouth pH, the pH of the mouth is less than 5.5, then it begins to corrode or it begins to decay. Now the question is, how this becomes less than 5.5? That you all know. How is it? When you take food, after food, what will happen? Sometimes you won't brush your teeth. Correct. Now, in that time, what is there in your teeth? Bacteria are there. Now, what the bacteria will do? They will produce acids. See, that's a valid point. That is, the bacteria present in your mouth, bacteria present in your mouth, okay, produce acids. That is a valid point. Produce acids. Now, how? By the degradation of these food particles present in your mouth. You have so much small food particles present in your mouth. Now, what the bacteria will do? They will degrade it, and what? Acids are produced. Now, whenever there is acid, what happens? The decaying starts. When the pH level will be below 5.5, then the decay will start. So, what is the remedy for that? You have to brush your teeth after every meal. Okay, like going to bed also, you have to brush your teeth. For that, you are taking what? Toothpaste. What is the importance of toothpaste here? Toothpaste means it is basic in nature. Isn't it? Toothpaste are basic in nature. So, if it tends to corrode, that means the acidic character is more, then the toothpaste will have a basic character. So, that neutralize and it won't corrode, or the teeth won't decay. So, you understood how the pH is related to our tooth decay? So, this is about the tooth decay. Correct. So, you understood this, and the last one is about the animals. Okay, the self-defense of what? The flies or animals. Okay, and plants. What is it? The last one is self-defense of plants and animals. What is self-defense? What do you mean by self-defense? Defensing our own. If I want a self-defense, what happens? Yeah, I will make some arrangement because to defend somebody. That's what. Now, you know bees, right? Bees. Anyone has got stung from the bee? If you have stung by a bee, at that portion, you will have, it's very painful and it's very irritating. Why that? Why? Because while the bee is stung into your body, it will have or it will produce an acid in our body. And that acid is called as methanoic acid. What is the acid called? Methanoic acid. And this acid, you will have that pain. Okay, now what will you do for that? You have acid. Now, in order to neutralize that acid, if you have some baking soda, that is, which is basic in nature, if you put around the portion where you are stung with the bee, if you have some basic thing, you will get some relief. That means, the funda is, the acid will neutralize that bees and you can have some relief. Okay, so that is about the self-defense of this plants and the animals. Okay, so this is about the bee sting. Okay, now for if you want a plant making the self-defense plant, there is a plant called the nettle plant. This nettle plant has small thorns in it, like you know in biology you study small thorn in this. It will stick into our body and causes irritation and pain. In this nettle leaves also the acid is same, that is methanoic acid. Due to this you will have a pain or an irritation. Now what you will do? You apply some basic thing so that it will neutralize and you can have a relief on that. Okay, so these are some of the importance of pH in your everyday life. Okay, so I think you have understood. Anything you have in doubt, just get me, I will clear for. Okay, so till now that's it. Thank you.